we have an ambition to expand. We would expand our 200 beds to close to 350 beds now. And it seems to be projected in a way that it will eventually. What I understand of how AI is growing in healthcare, you would see about 10, 15, 20 patients a day. So I don't believe that it will ever replace the doctor.
Hospital is all about care. But what extra is Meithra doing for its patients?
Difficult question. I remember hearing to Madam, and she was explaining the expectations of the customer. It is not different for our patients as well. Especially when you look at healthcare, you can only do a certain thing certain way. Like for example, there is only one or two methods of how you can do delivery of a patient. There is no other way of doing it. You can't use a magic wand and ask the patient to deliver a baby, right? So in medical practices, most of what you see is standardized right now. So what we in Meithra, or technically I would believe in hospitals in the future, what we would do is we would have, especially in Meithra, what we do is we have multidisciplinary approach to healthcare. Healthcare in general is more of a reactive business, right? When you get sick, you go see a doctor. Doctor understands what your sickness is. They deliver medicine, so they do surgery, and they treat you, and they send back home. So it's very one-dimensional in that aspect. It's a heart problem. You come for the heart treatment, and you head back home. For us in Meithra, it's very multidisciplinary. We have multiple consultants coming in. They would look at all the aspects of healthcare, because that is how Cleveland operates as well. And in addition to that, what we at Meithra is in the process of doing, it's still too early for me to kind of reveal it, but I'll just call it Brand X right now. So we are formulating a protocol where we're trying to integrate healthcare. So modern medicine, holistic medicine, mental health, everything is kind of looked at as a package for the patient. There could be many reasons why the patient would have developed a sickness. It's just not going to be environmental, it's not going to be hereditary, it's not just going to be lifestyle. There could be many other factors that may contribute to that patient becoming sick. So we're looking at healthcare as holistic, and we are trying to integrate all aspects of what medicine could bring to the patient, so that the patient is not just treated and cured. We are talking about something from illness to wellness, and wellness to well-being. So the patient doesn't fall sick again. Because clearly, if you look at how healthcare is functioning as of now, you talk about 500-bedded hospitals, 600-bedded hospitals, there are 2,000-bedded hospitals. Clearly, there is no way that anybody can sustain such behemoths of hospitals anymore, because the cost of operating is very high. So I believe healthcare will shrink to 100, 200 beds, where regular care can be provided at home, advanced care is provided at the hospital. So I believe integrated medicine is a path that could lead us to that. So that is where I think we are all heading towards now.
Okay, wonderful. There are a lot of budding entrepreneurs here, and you being in a position where you are in charge of operations, any advice to them when they start off into their venture that you would like to share?
Sir, honestly speaking, I've lost a lot of money in investments, so I'm the last person who could advise any entrepreneurs here right now. But I sit in a position of leadership. What I clearly believe that if you want to excel in what you want to do, you have to have a lot of patience. And then at the same time, you have to augment that with a lot of learning, because you can't stop learning if you want to be a leader. You have to continuously be in the process of learning. And that happens from many avenues. It can come from your employee, it can come from your customer, it can come from media, it can come from experts and authors who are writing on a particular subject. So it has to be important that we have to emphasize that learning is also a very important aspect. You can't be an expert. You have to continue to improve on your knowledge and information to become an expert. And I believe the last thing is, when I say patience and learning, you also have to have perseverance. Results may not come all the time. So you have to have that willpower to continue to, if you believe in what you're trying to do and you believe that that is the way forward, you have to have that perseverance to see the final, the end line or the end game. So you need a lot of perseverance. So if you have these three things and then you couple it with integrity, I think you're good enough.
Good enough. Thank you. one last question which I'd like to ask. This is regarding Mr. Faisal. What is one quality you think that stands out or makes him stand out from the crowd?
Is this recorded? Is it going to go back to him? Because I don't want this to be part of my appraisal interview at some point in time. But yeah, if I can be very honest, it took both of us almost a year to convince me to join Meithra. I've had the privilege and honor of working with a lot of people, Dr. Shamsheer, Dr. Azad Mupan, Dr. Bia Shetty. They're all great billionaires, they're all great entrepreneurs, great leaders. So obviously I had a lot of those NRI-based mix of leaders, experience, and probably working with them, I understand what they want. But Mr. Faisal sir was a little different from all of that. He was very human in his approach. You could say that he's very thoughtful in what he wants to do. Or you could say he's very mindful. He wouldn't just jump into any business just because it involves profit and loss. He wants to know what he's changing when he gets into that business. If you look at Faisal Shabana Foundation, what he did with Nadakav School is primarily a good example of what he really is. He wants to make an impact in whatever he wants to do. Similarly with KEF Healthcare, similarly with ETC. ETC, I was told that he was one of the top 3 foundries in the world at the time producing valves for oil and gas company at that time. So I would believe that he's very present, he's very mindful, he's very human. He's very emotional too. I've borne the brunt of most of that in my last 7 months. And he's very honest. So I would say that, his innate ability to think of what impact he's trying to make in the society with whatever he starts. And if it doesn't appeal to him, if he believes that he's going to do everything what everybody else is going to do, don't assume him to invest in anything at all. He really wants to know what income, what impact he's going to create in the society by starting it. So I think that's something I like about him.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for your valuable inputs, I would say. And of course, thank you for sharing those little secrets which has helped Meithra be what it is today. And all the very best for the future.
Thank you so
and
much.
Congratulations on making this huge mark, setting a benchmark for the healthcare industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.